Hello guys, this is Builder, and this is a video of a free-for-all game with me as China. And I know it's been a long time since I've made videos. Hopefully I will be able to start up making some more videos now. I've been playing some more Gods and Kings recently, and I've gotten a new video editor on my new computer to work. So hopefully that we will be able to get some more I will be able to get some more videos out. But, so let's see, my starting spot is alright. I mean, it has a lot of resources around it, that's for sure, but it doesn't have a river, but, yeah. So the river is just really killer on that starter spot, because, I mean, basically, after civil service, the river tile becomes basically a special, unique tile, which I don't have, and also I'm just missing, I'll miss a bunch of gold from that. But otherwise, I mean, I have a lot of quarries. I'll be able to use that to make, from my pantheon, to be able to make a quick religion. I will be able to put 2 quarries on the 2 stone nearby, and maybe I'll be able to put another city on another quarry and be able to get basically 6 faith from that. Then also I have a couple of mining resources, which are also pretty strong resources. I really like mining resources. Let's see what else. There is a dyes, which is alright. I mean, I don't really care one way or the other about the dyes. It's just another luxury. And then I have a cow. Hopefully I will have some horses nearby, revealed by animal husbandry, and I'll be able to build a stable in my capital and be able to get a nice production out of that. So I found Jakarta. I'm just gonna make a guess here. I think that Jakarta is in a corner, so I'm gonna just send my scout back around. I'm just gonna make that guess, because I don't want to be sending him all the way out to nowhere and then back. I'm going pottery, animal husbandry again, because I think there might be some horse tiles around my capital. I started with pottery so I can get my a shrine into my city, so that I can get my +4 faith or +2 faith from quarries pantheon in there. And as you can see, I can just on the tip of my vision see that there's a natural wonder there. Forget what that one is called, but regardless, I'm going to move my scout in and reveal it. Hopefully I will be able to settle it. So I'm going to get mining so I can work up towards my quarries. As you can see, I do have a couple of horses, and actually I do have a cow as well. Another cow as well. So, I mean, overall my city is a very solid city. My city is pretty much the best you could be without having a river. It's just very unfortunate that I do not have a river. So and my scout has just revealed some Songhai cities. So I am very close to the Songhai. I believe I counted, I think I'm 7 tiles away, which is unfortunate. Especially because I didn't move. It's not like I moved towards them. We just spawned that close together. So there's a lot of jungle down below, so that's not ideal early city spot placement in the jungle, but late game it'll give me some nice tech if I can plop a city down there, if there's space, there's no one else nearby. I was fast moving versus Aska to see if I could get that ruin first, and I was able to snag the ruin from right nearby his capital, which is always nice for me and bad for him. So again, I'm working towards masonry. I might grab the pyramids this game. Actually, I don't think I do grab the pyramids. I don't remember. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna work my, I want to work my spearmen back around towards my capital so that I can defend it from some barbarians. From the barbarians. In terms of social policies, I'll go down for the free settler. It's basically what I'm doing most games now. I fooled around with tradition for a while, but I feel like the bonuses you get from tradition are a little bit too late to help you as much. I feel like even though the free settlers push back a little bit, it's still pretty strong. And it really helps you if you want to expand to more than your base 3 number of cities. I mean, you're not getting that much benefit from plus 50% settler production if you're only building 1 or 2 settlers, but if you're building like 7+ cities, which you can often do in Gods and Kings if you can get a nice land with, and then get a religion as well, you can basically spam cities for days and not run out of happiness. So in that case, Liberty will give you a big boost there. Whereas, because you'll be getting plus 50% on all those settlers, plus 50% production. So I'm kind of, the way I scout is I send my spear out in a circle, my warrior out in a circle. He goes out a little bit in one direction, then comes back so he can protect my my civilian units. My scout heads out in the opposite direction, and so that and then he just heads out. I don't really want to bring the scout back, so that my scout can meet as many people as possible, and not meet as many, because he's not as helpful on defense. I just want to meet a lot of people. You get, just so you can know more about, also so you can know more about the world. It's always a good thing. And right away I'll start on my quarry, so that hopefully right when I get the Pantheon I'll be able to get that. And Askia just gave me a declaration of friendship, I think. Or did I give it to him? I'm not sure. But the thing is, declaration of friendship doesn't really mean anything. So I mean, it says we're friends, but he can just declare war on me whenever he wants. He's not a stupid AI. I had to move my worker away from the barbarian. I don't want to stop working tiles, so I'll just move him to a slightly safer tile and just start working that, instead of just pulling him back into the city. And then once my city finishes them off, I move right back to my quarry so that I can continue, hopefully get that +4, the plus faith thing hooked up. Let's see. So it looks like Gao will have a lot of riverside tiles, which he will be able to use to grow quite a bit. He won't have quite as much production in his capital as I will, so hopefully we'll be able to leverage that into some more units and stuff in my capital. Take my free settler. I decide I'm going to send him up towards Natural Wonder. Oh, I still forgot to see what it is. I think it's the Rock of Gibraltar. Don't quote me on that though. And if I'll settle up there, I'll build a granary. I will be able to hook up 3 deer tiles, which will be nice, even though 2 of the deers are in the tundra. A deer in the tundra is basically, its base yield is a grassland, then once you build the actual granary, you'll be getting 3 food, and then you build the camp, and it'll be 3 food, 1 production tile, which is basically just a riverside farmed plain tile. It's nothing special, but it's certainly better than the tundra. And so I will be able to have that city up there. Also, there's a whales nearby that city, which I believe I forget to hook up the whales for a while. because I'm bad at hooking up sea resources. I'm used to playing on. I learned to play on skirmish maps where there wasn't any water resources, so it's not in my quote-unquote algorithm of playing. It's just not what I do. Something I should get better at. Because, what's the sea improvement? Also, I don't research the naval techs as early because it's just, I'm not used to doing it as much. The optics is also a very nice tech. Especially if you have several fish tiles, it's giving you +2 food on every fish tile. So if you have a couple of fish tiles, I mean, it makes those like tiles kind of ridiculous, actually. It gives you, it makes it a 4 food 1 gold tile, and then you can put a workboat on it and get it up to a 5 food tile. And I forget, I don't even notice the archer, barbarian archer, nearby my worker. But I don't think the barbarian attacks me for some reason. I'm not quite sure. Ideally, I should know how the barbarians act a little bit more. I should be able to predict the barbarian's behavior a little bit better. But, you know, I mean, the barbarians are kind of supposed to be stupid, so. Ideally, I'd be able to predict, though, oh, I can know he's not gonna do that because, rah, 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 there's something else he wants to do. And I'm gonna start right away on a granary. And the production in that city is going to be pretty pitiful. Even once I get that hill, I mean, even it's going to be pretty bad production in Shanghai. As you can see, my worker is a little bit in trouble. He's where the archer could have gotten him if the archer really wanted to, but I wasn't going. But if the archer did move in, I would have just taken him with the spearman. So basically, if I had moved him away, I would have lost a turn of production, and if I kept him there, I kept the turn of production anyway. So it's just, if you know you can capture a worker back immediately, you might as well not move him out of place and just hope the barbarian doesn't attack you. Anyway, I'm moving my scout back. He's pretty low health, so I mean, he's relatively nearby to my capital, so I'm just gonna pull him back, heal him up, scout. Send him out on another scouting run to see if I can meet everyone else. I'll send a settler down. I'm going to settle on the river down below. I just really don't have very many respectable city spots at this point in the game, or just at all in this game, on this map I should say, because I'm just kind of squashed by the Songhai. Like, it's kind of a struggle for me to even get 3 cities out. And if you saw the pop-up, I didn't see who it was, but the city-state wants to have that encampment destroyed, which means it's really important to that I be the one that destroys it, and that I do not let the Songhai destroy it. But fortunately for me, he runs away from the encampment and basically allows me to have the encampment. Interesting. So another thing that I've started doing recently is that I have started queuing up items. You can turn on the build queue. It's an option in the city screen. There's like a little checkbox you can check. And I really like the build queue because it allows you to plan for each city. Whereas if you're just going by turn, it flips through all the different cities and you don't remember what you're really planning for the city. But when you can queue up actions, it lets you think more strategically about, well, in this many turns I will probably be unhappy, so I want to have started my Colosseum by this point. And you can also help it to like line up building libraries at about the same time so that you can finish them all for the National College about right around the same time, and other stuff like that. It's very nice. I like it. Sometimes you can't use it because you haven't researched the tech yet. Like, for example, immediately when I get education, I basically build universities, which the queue doesn't let you do because you need to have the tech to be able to queue it up. But it's still, I really like it. And also because I basically build the same things early on in the city, so I can just say, okay, I want to build granary, watermill, or granary library or just library. I can just queue that up really quickly. Then I can leave the city alone for a while. And founding the city will put me into some unhappiness. I believe I've improved most of the luxury resources nearby my cities, and I forget about my whales, of course, which I could use for another +4 happiness, which would be very helpful at this point, because both of my cities could be growing right now. I don't feel as bad being unhappy when my cities are just working hill tiles, but they can't do that, which means they're just wasting a lot of food because the excess food is just being cut up. So I mean, ideally I would be able to grow a little bit higher in population in both Guangzhou and either city, and do stuff. I think I'll start the paper mill right away in Guangzhou so that I can just so it lines up with the other cities. Because if I tried to build a granary first, it would be finished pretty late. I'm not sure. I added a couple of archers to my queue. I guess I feel a little bit unsafe about my surroundings, which is reasonable considering how close he is to me. Also, I might as well get them out right now, my archers out right now, and then upgrade them so that I can upgrade them. I won't have to use as much production. I can basically, whenever you use gold for something that you could have used production for, you're just turning your gold into production, which is a nice thing, because just sitting on your gold, it doesn't give you any benefit. Whereas if you turn it into production, it is giving something to you that's actively benefiting you. If you can buy a worker, that actively gives you more production, more food everywhere. And if you upgrade units, it gives you giving you more powerful military for gold, which is another thing that benefits you. I believe that upgrading or just flat out purchasing military units is actually not as cheap as building. The cost of upgrading is cheaper per hammer than it is to actually just flat out buy the new units, which means that especially for units that get obsoleted, like you can't build archers after you've discovered construction. You want to have those units already built out so that you can save some production. Of course, on the other hand, if you don't need the units urgently, you can just save your gold for something else later. But again, that's a game by game situation. For example, you could say in this map, I don't have very many river cities. I only have one river city, which means that I won't be getting much gold throughout the game, which means I'll probably go negative once I get all my buildings set up, once I build up an army, because it'll be costing a lot of maintenance, which means I might want to save the gold, because if you go negative, it means that your the negative gold digs into your tech rate, which is actually really bad. Tech rate is very important. In the short term, I mean, if you need to have an army really badly, I mean, you can do that. But in the long term, especially in a free-for-all, you just don't want to fall behind in tech. Basically, in a free-for-all, it doesn't really matter, I mean, what you do to your neighbors, if you kill them, if you go away, or if you don't leave them there, if you fall behind in technology. Because, you can have a huge empire, you can have conquered 3 people, but if you have riflemen, they have, like, tanks, you're screwed. So, whereas in, like, a duel, you can just kill your enemy, just have more production than them and kill them. Just a minor worker improvement thing. I'm not going to chop the forest nearby Songhai because chopping a forest on a grassland tile reduces the production of that tile. So even though it gives me a little hammer boost right away, over time I'd be getting less production. And Shanghai sorely needs production, so I'm just going to leave the forest there. I'm going to pick up oracles, or not oracles, the oracle. It's from a different game. I don't normally build oracles, or the oracle, because I don't know, free social policy just isn't as strong, I'd say, anymore. I mean, I guess you can use it to get your free great profit earlier from Liberty, maybe, but when they with the two education wonders being moved around a bit, you don't urgently need the great people for the ridiculous strong happiness wonder and the great scientist wonder. So I mean, the Liberty finisher is less essential to get early. Tradition, it's nice to finish quickly, but it's never been as important to finish tradition as quickly. And plus, a lot of other people seem to build the oracles relatively quickly, so I rarely put in the effort to build it myself. As with all wonders in Civ, the frequency with which I build a wonder is based off of how frequently my opponents build it. If, like, in general, people don't like to build a certain wonder, it's more likely that I'll go for it. Whereas, for a while, for example, in No Quitters, everybody built the Great Library. People would just, they would, you know, build their monument, build their granary, take, you know, go down tradition maybe or whatever, and they just build the Great Library. They'd stay at 2 population, they wouldn't do anything else, and basically if they got it, they'd be alright, and if they didn't, they'd be screwed. And they'd be able to get it relatively quickly. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to make my game reliant on getting a wonder like that. But that's also just early wonders. I don't like going for early wonders as much because it's risky. Because then if you miss out, it really puts you behind. I'm thinking about buying a tile near Guangzhou, so that if the city-state doesn't steal some tiles. Let me see. I figured out, I've mathed it out, I can duel the archer down below with the barbarian. Yeah, so wonders. That's my kind of spiel on wonders. Some wonders are just overpowered, and you just want to go for them no matter what. But that's mostly mid-game wonders for me. Like, I guess early game, it's more important if you miss a wonder because the early production is more important. So like, I guess early game would be classical and earlier. So classical and ancient era wonders. And I actually run away from that archer because I wouldn't necessarily be able to kill him off, and I don't want to die myself. So I've been able to level up my happiness by improving all of my luxuries and building a couple of happiness buildings. I still haven't improved my whales up nearby, what's my other city called? Shanghai. Which is bad. I'm near to my national college. I'll be able to start that in 3 turns once I finish Oracle in Beijing. Finishing my granary in Guangzhou. I always like getting granaries in cities. It's nice, very nice building. Especially if you have the wheat. If you have a wheat, it becomes 50% more, it's giving you 50% more food, so it becomes even more of a priority. It's kind of a debate for me whether I start with watermill or granary first, but if you have the wheat, for sure you want to build the granary first. As you can see, I've queued up granary, watermill, followed by a monument. Granary, watermill, monument. And so I won't have to give that city orders for a while. And that's just a generic way to start building out a city. Because I've already got my national college, all my libraries in, so I don't need to do other stuff. And in general, it's a decent start if you want to just build up productive, kind of large cities. Granary, watermill, and then whatever you want is a good way to start out building a city. Of course, that kind of requires that you have production tiles nearby. The point granary and Watermills both give food, although the watermill does give a little bit of production. That's not really that important. The whole point of building the granary and watermills is that it lets you work lots of hill tiles with your growth being unaffected, so that you can basically get more production out of your cities than you would have been able to otherwise. And as you can see, I have been attacked. What's this guy? I was attacked by Askia. He's moving in some composite bowmen. He seems to have a couple further back, which seems a little bit strange. Luckily for me, I was able to capture a worker from him, which allowed me to become friends, or allies for one turn, with Manila, I think is the city-state up there. Anyway. So immediately I'm going to switch to some production. I'm actually going to buy a horseman. It's not very, buying isn't, again, cost effective, but it's sometimes necessary to be able to defend yourself. You can buy walls, you can buy a unit or two. I'm going to try to defend my horse tile with that spearman, but maybe I should just be protecting Songhai. The composite bowmen have already taken down the city pretty low, and he has a bunch more coming in. So yeah, it's not looking that good for Songhai. Hopefully I will be able to destroy his melee unit that's coming in. I'm going to chop that forest nearby Songhai because I need a burst of production. The tile will give me one less hammer, but the chopping of the forest gives me 13 hammers, so it'll give me a little bit of extra production for the 13 turns where I really need it. Yeah. So I'll start working on my my archer in that city. I believe I will need to finish off construction soon. I'm trying to hit and run with my horse. I'll try to run away with horsemen. Hopefully I will be able to get away and heal him up and then use him for another kind of dive-in attack. Basically, to use horsemen effectively, you want to be able to do damage to them and then be able to get out. And, hopefully you can kill units in the process as well, so that you can make him lose units and you'll be able to get away and then just heal up. So I'm going to try to move fast at the beginning of the turn. I was able to do that. I'm just picking off archers, a couple of archers with my horsemen. I've already reduced the size of his force significantly. Those guys. And I only have a little bit confused at this point. Let me see. I have 5 horses. I believe I'm getting a couple of free horses from Manila, which means that I don't need to protect my 4-horse tile as much. So I'm going to move him up to help protect Songhai. I'm going to try to take out just more of his units. Songhai isn't down to 0 yet, so I will try to pick off some archers, see if I can keep Songhai from falling down to nothing, and then just resorting to defending against the melee units that could actually take the city. And again, since this is kind of a tight situation, I'm not going to bother with getting upgrades for my units. I'm just going to get the heal promotion. I will be able to pick off... Oh no. Since he pillaged, he was able to heal a little bit. I'm going to get a flanking bonus with that horseman and then run away. And then I'm going to keep producing horse out of my capital. And I'm going to start building a road up to Songhai to be able to move my units more effectively. block the entry tile for that warrior, so that I can prevent his warrior from moving in to take the city the next turn. So that it'll take him another turn actually to be able to take the city. Normally I don't take a great general with my free great person, but in this case it's certainly the thing that'll help me the most. I really don't want to lose Shanghai, and it's really low, so I mean building a citadel or just getting the combat bonus will be extremely helpful in terms of that. I'm going to take plus 100 gold from new cities so I can maybe get enough gold to buy something else. We'll see. Anyway, my horsemen, I'm just kind of throwing in my horsemen a little bit more aggressively at this point because, again, my city is low. He's just moved in a great general, and he might use it on a citadel, which would be very nice for me because I will be able to instantly use my own great general to take away his citadel. Also, I have road tiles moving up towards that area, which means I would be able to move the great general in from 2 tiles away and build the citadel, which in the same turn, which I wouldn't be able to do without the road. So roads can be very helpful in wartime. I'm continue picking away at his units. Hopefully I'll be able to burst through this spearman and take out his scout before he can take my city. And if he does take the city, hopefully I'll be able to retake it very quickly. But I really don't want to do that because retaking the city would means that it'll lose all of its population, it'll lose buildings, it'll just be a bad thing. And actually, fortunately, I was able to take out his scout, so my city's saved for one more turn. And now he doesn't have any melee, or he has his spearmen, which I'm going to have to try to destroy again. And again, I'm basically running out of military units. Although, as you can see, all my units are kind of low health, which means I've been able to do damage to him and get away, which is nice for me, because now I can heal up, theoretically, and get stronger again. But it's also kind of dangerous, because it means that if he pushes in a couple of units, he could kill off a lot of my units very quickly, which could be dangerous. So with the bombard from the city and the archer, I should be able to take out that guy. And so now my city, in the immediate future, is going to be safe, because I have been able to kill off all of his military units nearby. I'm not quite sure why I put the Great General right there. He's kind of in a dangerous spot. We'll see if my opponent is able to kill off my archer and damage my Great General, because that could be very bad for me. Just very stupid. I'm going to keep building my road. I'm chopping the forest there with my worker so that I can get a little bit more mobility around that area. The forest slows down my horsemen and other stuff. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I put down a citadel right there. Trying to figure this out. I mean, I guess I am relatively low on military units, that's for sure. And if he had more military, and I guess he could push towards my city. And he cannot build a citadel to take over my citadel. That's something that you have to think about a lot when you're building citadels. You want to build them in spots where your enemy can't just pop in and flip them back immediately after you do it. And so this basically secures my city, I guess. He also burns his own Great General on a citadel, which is alright because I used Liberty to get my Great General, which means that I will be getting my own normal Great General relatively soon. And I'll be able to use... Also, I'm China, which means I get more Great Generals. So if we just try to go 1-for-1, flip Citadel, flipping back and forth, I'll be able to beat him. And also, I got the free one, which does increase the cost of my first Great General, but... Or my second Great General, but... So, oh yeah, as you can see right there, I got my own Great General. So I was able to just flip his Citadel back. Although that wasn't the best spot. I could have put the Citadel. I could have... Actually, no, it's alright. I could have put it one tile lower and gained control of the spice tile, which would have given me extra happiness. However, that would have left the copper tile away from my top city of Guangzhou. Or, no, Shanghai. I love how I try to pronounce them in, like, a Chinese way. And I'm pretty bad at it, but I go like, Guangzhou. Guangzhou. Like, I plug my nose when I say it. Anyway. What was I doing? Ah, yes, I repair the Citadel. Just to be mean. Poor Scout. Might have been the Scout I built right away, and he's just exploring all the corners of the world. Sydney is about to be taken over. I'm working up towards education, which will give me some nice teching. And unfortunately, I've run into some unhappiness. Oh, I'm gonna look for some trades to see if I can get some happiness back. I'm actually able to get a deal, which is nice. Anyway, basically, as a result of that war, I mean, he wasn't able to take Shanghai. He seriously slowed down, like, National College, because basically I just stopped building National College for however long we were at war. But in the end, he wasn't able to capture anything. He wasn't able to get a citadel in my territory. So basically, I came out ahead, I'd say. But he got very close to taking my city. Ideally, I would have been looking at demographics, and I would have paid attention to the fact that I had barely had any army. And I don't know how, if he would have been at my neighbor would have been at the top of the army, but it certainly would have been helped to have at least maybe a scouting unit nearby his borders so that I could have seen the type of army he had built up, so that I would have been able to respond more easily, a little bit earlier, to an invasion. Also, I don't feel like he moved all of his units in immediately, which I feel like hurt his invasion. He also didn't have enough military units to actually take the city. If he would have been able to have a horseman to be able to move in and take the city from very far away, I would have had a lot more troubles defending the city. That's one of the things. In Gods and Kings, range units become a lot more powerful. Range units become a lot more have become a lot more powerful. So you will oftentimes have a force of mostly range units, and then your only issue will be actually taking the city with using using a melee unit, because you have only range units around the city. I'm going to pop on Colosseums to most of my queues, because my happiness is going to be dropping a little bit. You can also notice that I'm getting some, what are they called? Markets into most of my cities, which is a nice thing. You should try to get markets in when you have a little bit of gold production in your city already. It'll give you a plus 25% production. It does give you 2 flat gold, so you can build it if you just really need the gold, but otherwise it's not really that worth it. And about at this point I'm gonna cut the video. Seems like a reasonable spot. We'll see if I'll be able to use my Choka news, and how my conflict with Songhai will end. So anyways, thanks for watching.